This is a real social media post from Donald Trump. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. Guys, if the cabinet does not have the courage to invoke the 25th Amendment, then the Congress must impeach and remove Donald Trump immediately. The people in legacy media may not have the guts to tell you this, but I will. This man can no longer serve as president. He is not fit for the Oval Office.
The entire country could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. We're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and after that, they're going to have no bridges, they're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages.
Stone Ages. Stuff like that was really the tip of the iceberg in terms of the things that the President of the United States said today. Trump threatened to jail the journalist who revealed that a service member, an American service member, was missing after a fighter jet was shot down in Iran. When Trump was asked by a New York Times reporter whether Trump was concerned about committing war crimes, he said no. And then he attacked the New York Times for saying that Trump was going to lose an election. It is safe to describe it as erratic and unhinged. But as for those strikes Trump keeps tweeting about and talking about against Iran, and what Trump may soon order the men and women of the United States military to do, according to Trump, as early as tomorrow night, former military lawyers warn that what Donald Trump is publicly calling for, if it is followed through, would, quote, amount to the most serious war crimes, and thus the president's statements place service members in a profoundly challenging situation. Iranian power plants and other critical civilian infrastructure are protected from attacks by the law of war of the United States that we helped craft after World War II. Despite those well-settled legal parameters, Trump has repeatedly threatened to obliterate such infrastructure without regard to the law's high demands. His comments are blatant expressions that he is willing to turn the U.S. into a rogue state, like Iran and Russia, one that rejects the fundamental legal restraints that protect innocent non-combatants like children and the Iranian civilian population itself. There is also the problem of how Trump's threats could further prolong and extend this now very unpopular war with Iran, not to mention the damage Donald Trump is doing to our reputation on the world stage.
You don't tell me what to do,
These scenes of police brutality come from an ICE operation in Burlington, Vermont on March 11th. This is reporting from the Vermont Public. ICE agents were surveilling a house in Burlington early Wednesday morning when they saw Daniel Corona Sanchez leave in a vehicle, and that's when they gave chase. Now, ICE claims that Sanchez caused a multi-car accident, but ICE also claimed that this immigration activist in Oxnard, California in October rammed their vehicle.
ICE agents in an unmarked vehicle slamming into a U.S. citizen's pickup truck.
Border Patrol claims that Miramar Martinez in Chicago rammed a Border Patrol vehicle before an agent shot her 5 times through her door.
But the body camera video shows Agent Exum appearing to swerve to the left, colliding with Martinez. 6 seconds after the crash, Exum is seen exiting the vehicle, and you can hear him fire 5 shots.
And in January in Minneapolis, ICE officers shot a man through his door in his home, and they claim that that man had attacked them. Those ICE officers are now under investigation for perjury, and the charges against the immigrant who was shot has been dropped. The charges against Miramar Martinez have been dropped. The charges against the activist in Oxnard, California have been dropped. And yesterday in Burlington, after ICE agents tried to block him in, Corona Sanchez ran inside a home. I'm not clear whether that was his home, but I believe it was because other immigrants were also living there. The incident was reported to Community Rapid Response, and hundreds of community members showed up. They were peaceful, they surrounded the home, and about 9 hours later, ICE agents showed up with a warrant. So ICE entered the home and they took 3 immigrants inside, even though the warrant would have only been for Corona Sanchez. In February, a whistleblower, a former ICE training officer, testified to Congress that ICE has been training its agents to violate constitutional rights.
Are ICE agents being told they can force entry into private homes without judicial warrants?
Yes, they are.
And you said in your introduction, quote, there was a secretive order to train officers to violate the Constitution. Yes or no, ICE agents are being directed to break the law and violate the Constitution with such directions?
Yes, they're being instructed to violate the law and enter homes using the I-205 warrant process.
which is just a permission slip. It's not a real judicial warrant.
ICE, along with local police, deployed flashbangs. They used chemical munitions. Listen to how ICE pepper sprayed this community member. They took his goggles off and then they pepper sprayed him in the eyes. Several people were exposed to a chemical. Someone had a seizure in the road and there was gas all around. Found this part interesting. You can see one of the local cops getting into it with someone in the ICE vehicle, and then he also gets into it with his giant goofy ICE goon. ICE is still very much active. They are still kidnapping people. More than 70,000 people right now are being held in ICE's concentration camps, and NPR is reporting that more people have died in ICE concentration camps since October than in the entire previous fiscal year. 23 people have died in the last 5 months. That is more than the entire previous 12 months. They're being choked to death and murdered by the guards. They are dying from teeth infections. They are dying from suicide because of how awful the conditions are. Migrant Justice and PSL Vermont were two of the organizations on the ground. You can join them, you can follow them, you can donate to them. Those are 3 ways that you can help today.
Comment section really pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw a post about how Donald Trump maybe have sent to Walter Reed. It's unconfirmed reporting. Don't know. So whether or not he did or didn't, the comment section really pissed me off. And I'm just going to say how I feel. That's how I am. I tell you how I feel, whether you want to hear it or not. And in that comment section, I saw some real sick shit. Stuff like, I hope he makes it. I hope he's okay. Sending him positive energy. Hope he pulls through this. Like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Holy shit, I never thought I would live to see the day. But it's here, the one thing I never thought I would see Trump let die, the one issue he's cared more about across his 15-year filling of the MAGA cesspool than anything else, is now politically dead. Because House Republicans just got together this week to talk about how they could minimize the consequences of their actions. And one of the little bits of discharge that leaked through the cracks in these closed-door sessions was guidance not just from Republican leadership, but from the White House itself, who stopped talking about mass deportations. Because believe it or not, their choice to attack American communities, to fill camps with immigrants with no criminal record, to deport hundreds of thousands of peaceful working people, to fund Trump's private DHS militia at a level higher than every other federal enforcement agency combined, and to send untrained armed officers into American cities, officers whose recklessness took the lives of Keith Porter, Renee Good, and Alex Preddy, is landing poorly with voters. So now, like the quivering little cowards they are, they're trying to run away from it. But I'm not going to let that happen, because I'm old enough to remember when they handed out mass deportation now signs to thousands of screaming fans at the RNC, and Republicans waved them so eagerly I couldn't even see the crosses they were wearing. I remember when Trump said in Racine in June 2024, "We're going to have the largest deportation. We have no choice." When he said in his RNC speech, "To keep our families safe, the Republican platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country." When he said in September of 2024 in Iowa, "Following the Eisenhower model, we will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history." And when he told the Washington Post just last month,
Would you support mass deportations of people who are otherwise law-abiding?
Everybody, but we're focusing on the criminals, we're focusing on killers, but ultimately, they all broke the law.
The fact is, when it comes to all of the things in the world that are so inextricably linked, you can't think of one without the other. Whether it's peanut butter and jelly, mac and cheese, a Caroline and lip injections, J.D. Vance and a crusty futon, Pete Hegseth and a rocks glass, or Donald Trump's name in the files. Republicans and mass deportation might just be at the top of the list. And here in about 8 months, we'll make sure it's known that for every fuck around, there is an equal and opposite. Find out.
Some news right now, some of the most hardline Republicans in Congress are now starting to speak out against Donald Trump's threat to exterminate the Iranian people, saying that they hope he doesn't follow through with it. Here's Senator Ron Johnson, who's a key Trump ally, quote, "I am hoping and praying that President Trump that this really is bluster. I do not want to see us blowing up civilian infrastructure. I do not want to see that. We are not at war with the Iranian people. We are trying to liberate them." It comes as Donald Trump told Fox News within the past hour that the 8 p.m. deadline is firm, that if no negotiations continue, bombing will happen. An attack like they've, quote, never seen before will happen. And ahead of tonight's deadline, the State Department has issued now an advisory for all Americans in Bahrain, telling them that the U.S. Embassy has directed all government employees to shelter in place. Significant things happening right now. I'll have more updates for you soon. As always, follow along for all the news you need to know.
Allegedly, Barron Trump bought $30 million worth of oil just 2 days before the war, and it's now worth $50 million. $20 million profit in just 10 days. And allegations like this, which I presume are true, are why the internet trends daily send Barron or send Kai, who made a completely tone-deaf post going grocery shopping with her Secret Service and failing to recognize the irony, saying that the prices were going to bankrupt her. Your grandfather did that, Kai. This entire family and their war profiteering, their corruption, and for all y'all MAGA out there about to cry something Obama or something Biden, I don't care. Here's a law that even you should get behind because it's nonpartisan. New federal law. Any government official, be it in the legislative branch in Congress or the executive branch in the president's office, that supports any wartime actions or special operations, if they've got kids or grandkids that are 18 plus years old, those kids or grandkids are automatically enlisted. With no exceptions to the rule, no bone spur excuses. If you want to support war for profit, then you better put your money where your mouth is and prepare to have your own flesh and blood sent. And we'll see just how quickly these warmongers back off of pushing the war button. Oh, and I even thought of a clause to the rule if you're someone like Lindsey Graham, who has never been married and doesn't have kids. So, in the event that the official has no kids to offer up to the war god's sacrifice, I don't care how old you are, you strap on your boots and you go over there. Lindsey Graham sold out our country to Israel, and Trump just lifted sanctions on Russia, who has been providing Iran location data of our service members for Iran to attack. And Trump lifted sanctions against Russia so that they could sell their oil worldwide again. Aiding and abetting an enemy. What's that called? It's fucking treason. What should we call this new federal law? How about the Blood Pact Act? Maybe then you'll think twice about sacrificing Americans' blood on foreign soil.
Something's got to give. 2, something's got to give. 3, something's got to give. Now! Let the bodies hit the floor. 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 Let the bodies hit the floor.
And look at how they're deploying troops. There's a brigade at Fort Polk, Louisiana, that is getting ready to deploy. They're just about to start their last pre-deployment training before shipping out. Staff Sergeant Matthew Blank is part of that brigade. He's 23 years old, but he's already a staff sergeant. He enlisted at 18. He's been in the military for 5 years. He's already had deployments to the Middle East and Europe. Before this next deployment, happily, this past month, Staff Sergeant Blank got married. Big wedding in Texas. Very, very happy couple, looking forward to starting a family together. Last week, he and his wife had their appointment at Fort Polk to get their married housing, get her military spouse ID. Instead, when they showed up at Fort Polk to register to get her military ID, ICE agents handcuffed her and took her to an immigrant prison. She has no criminal record of any kind. She was born abroad. She has lived here since she was a toddler. She teaches Sunday school. She's a few months from finishing her bachelor's degree in biochemistry. She is happily newly married to not only a U.S. citizen, but an active duty U.S. Army staff sergeant who is about to deploy. And how did he spend this weekend? He spent this weekend at the barbed wire gates of the Trump immigrant prison where they have now locked up his wife. Because, you know, they're going after the worst of the worst. This is the one thing the U.S. government is still even trying to do, right? And this comes after the U.S. Marines had to scramble to try to undo their announcement last week that the Marines would also have ICE agents stationed at the gates of Parris Island Recruiting Depot in South Carolina, where they apparently plan to arrest family members of newly minted U.S. Marines who were graduating from Marine basic training. They were going to arrest family members of those new Marines when they showed up for graduation for their loved one getting out of Marine Corps basic training. Welcome to the United States Marine Corps. Thank you for volunteering to give up your life for this country. We are locking up your family. We're going to pick them up at graduation. They announced that ICE agents would be at the gate at Marine basic training graduation. They then had to try to walk it back. They said it was an internal communication failure.
Did you see this? Did you see this absolutely unhinged, deranged post from the United States president this morning threatening to end a civilization? Yeah, the president's a homicidal maniac right now, and there's two problems, and they're both bad, but they're worse because they're happening simultaneously. The first problem is Donald Trump is drunk on power right now, absolutely drunk on power. He knows Republicans in Congress aren't going to say boo to him. They are rubber stamping everything he has done. Are they going to get in his way now? In the middle of this war? He doesn't believe so. So he thinks, I could do anything. I've got the nuclear codes. I could do anything I want right now. The second problem is he does not know how to get out of this war. He does not know how to get us out of this war, and that is obvious. And he thinks threatening Iran into oblivion, threatening with genocide and war crimes, is going to nudge them into submission. That is not who Iran is, and that is not how this works. He doesn't know that. So he's in a tough spot. This is why this is happening. But look at this. Look at this bullshit. Look at these idiots and assholes. All the chickens are coming home to roost now. Now, 10 years in, when everything we said is happening. It was happening 10 years ago, okay? But we're in the 10th year of this, proving that he is a absolute deranged, immoral, incompetent grifter who doesn't know what he's doing and doesn't care about America. Yeah, we've been saying this for 8 years. You're just finally getting it? Fuck you and your buyer's remorse. Who would listen to you now? Who would listen to you? You got us here. You voted for him. You told everyone they have to vote for him, right? It's going to be World War III if you don't vote for him. Give me a fucking break. No one cares what you have to say anymore. We told you so.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Alrighty, testing. Let's see. Are we coming in? Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Alrighty, testing. Let's see. There I am. Good morning, everybody. It's 9:50 a.m. in beautiful Pacific time zone. We're sitting at a temperature currently at 74 degrees. Our expected high today, 91. We had some nice cooler temperatures. Now we're heating up again, but I think it's supposed to cool back down again in a few days. Still way warmer than I like it for this time of year. I like the nice 70-degree days, not these 90 plus degree days. It's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. All right. DPD says that you guys can hear me loud and clear. Loud and clear. I feel a little groggy this morning. I'm a little late, I know. Thanks for hanging in there. I just feel a little groggy. I don't know. I think it's still because I'm a little sick, still. So I feel a little groggy. I'm a little groggy. I feel like I'm a little too close to the camera. Maybe I should sit back here. I don't know. But thanks for being here, guys. I do appreciate you for coming on in, hanging out. And in relation to the clips there, some stuff I threw together real quick this morning, but I hope we get the overall message that we are being led by an insane person that really needs to be removed from power immediately. If things were being done the way they were supposed to be being done, well, for one thing, Trump would never be in the White House to begin with. He'd be in some prison cell. But if things were really, if things right now were to be done the way they're supposed to be done, they would be leading him out of the office. They would be, or impeaching him, whatever. He needs to be gone. These unhinged, a whole slew of them, not just that latest one that was talking about, but over the weekend or on Easter, his unhinged Easter thing. Can you imagine if Joe Biden or Barack Obama or any Democrat had, Clinton, whoever, had posted something like that, like he's done over Easter and everything? I mean, it's the media would come unglued. But when Trump does it, barely a peep. Now you saw, like MSN Now is talking about it. Jim Acosta, who doesn't even work for any networks anymore, because he seems to be a person of some integrity, and he's just posting stuff on social media. But where's the outcry? This guy needs to be gone. He needs to be removed from office, and the military needs to stand up to him. But again, as stated in that report there by Jolly Ginger, I think he says, he mentions that, or maybe it was another clip I was watching, that any generals, any leaders in the military that would stand up to him, they've all been removed or they've resigned and replaced with sycophants, which is sickening, disgusting. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. This is crazy. These are crazy times. We have an unhinged, power-hungry, in I think late stages or some stage of dementia, and it's really who's leading the country, and thereby leading the world, or at least influencing the world. All of our allies are abandoning us, and I don't blame them. Our new allies are evil. Our new allies are fucking Russia. They've never really been an ally. They've been our adversaries. We've only ever worked with them out of necessity, really, or to try to have, what they call détente. Remember détente? Try to get some sort of mutual agreement to not, fuck each other up too much. They've never really been an ally. But now I think we're allies. I think we're allied with fucking Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu over in Israel, who's another power hungry, power crazed criminal grifter who should be in prison. Like I said this in the last show, we are now the bad guys. We are now officially the bad guys. This whole thing, even if Trump won the election in 2016, and which he did, I guess, whatever, but if he just left things well enough alone, we wouldn't be in this situation. But he's always going to dabble and dibble and stir things up and act like he's some big fucking, big man on campus. He's a big mover and shaker. If he had just let the JCPOA, I believe that's the right letters, the agreement that Obama had put in place with Iran regarding their nuclear power program and having inspectors go in there and make sure they're not making any bombs and shit. If he had just left that in place, we wouldn't be here. If Donald Trump had just shut the fuck up and just won the presidency, but the guy just has to dabble and dabble and dabble and fucking stir shit up for no goddamn reason other than I think he's on a power trip. He's got a big ego, and probably really the main thing he does is market manipulation. They're making so much money. He's I think he accidentally stumbled into this, actually, figuring out that, hey, whenever I say this happens in the market. If I do that, this happens in the market. Hey, how about I tell Junior and Barron, hey, go do this, do that, and then just wink, wink, nod, nod, and then a couple days later, I'm going to say something, and the market's going to dip, and then it's going to rebound, and you're going to make so you buy at the dip or whatever, I don't know, and then it's going to rebound, and you're going to because I'm going to change. I'll say something else, and you guys are going to, and of course, it's all going to come back to me, right? I don't know. It's such a grift. They're just grifting. And it isn't just grifting, though. This causes loss of life, American lives, civilian life. I mean, how many thousands of people have we already killed now in Iran? Just because Trump wants to play these games, these market manipulation games, he doesn't give a fuck how many thousands of Iranians die. He doesn't care even how many U.S. service people die. The only reason he would care is if it makes him look bad, not because he cares about them and their families. I really hate that motherfucker. I got to say it. I got to say it. I can't not say it. I really hate that motherfucker. I'm gonna move this back or something. I don't know. I just feel like it's too close. Anyhow, thanks for being here. I'm not able to go back to the beginning of the chat. It won't let me scroll back up. But thanks for being here. I see Anna Moore is here. William is here. Brooklyn SJU is here. DPD. I saw Jolie was in here. So I know we got Jolie here. Paul Burrows is here. John Glad's here. Always glad to see John Glad in the chat room. Good to see you. There's Jolie. There's Paul Burrows says, I'm putting my camper shell on my pickup, getting ready for salmon season. Nice. I can go for a nice salmon right now. Brooklyn says, I lost 30 pounds, salmon, veggies, dancing, weight, stop eating at 3 p.m. Sounds like a plan. DPD says it's 41 degrees here with high of 49 with lows in the 30s tonight. So you guys still pretty chilly back there in Ohio. Still pretty chilly for you. Brooklyn says, eggs, English muffin, yogurt, blueberries. Not that anyone asked, laughing out loud. Well, you can share. You can share your breakfast with us. I mean, you can share what you had. You don't have to actually share the breakfast. Paul Burrows says the forecast for tonight is dark, followed by widely scattered light in the morning. We got 35 watching, only 23 thumbs ups. Well, right now, guys, I hate to tell you this, but we are acting like skeezy, dirty Republicans with that huge deficit. So let's get the thumbs ups there and get to at least a balanced budget in the thumbs up department. Anna Moore says, I am so glad to see the chat today. The madman is creating a global existential crisis. Impeach 47. Absolutely. Impeach that motherfucker. It's just it's so frustrating and so maddening. I mean, you guys in the chat, everyone we know, that's at least liberal, progressive, Democrat, whatever. We tried to warn everyone. We tried to warn, maybe not the maggots, that they were going to vote for Trump no matter what. We tried to warn, I guess, the undecideds or the independents or whatever. We tried to warn you motherfuckers. People who don't vote, we're trying to get you to come out and vote. We tried to warn you that Trump was a lying bastard, more so than anybody else. I mean, because someone will say, well, all politicians lie. Like the old joke, how do you know if a politician's lying if his lips are moving or something, whatever the fucking thing is? Well, you know what? And so, yeah, politicians have a reputation for lying. But Donald Trump has taken this to a whole new level of lying. I mean, the guy can't get one sentence out of his mouth without it being a lie. I mean, he is a habitual liar. He's a pathological liar. It's a little bit different than your typical politician trying to trying to please everybody in a way, in a sense, right? Trying not to ruffle too many feathers, whatever they say. They're always thinking of votes and not turning away votes or whatever. So they can be very careful in what they say. That's one thing. But Donald Trump he'll lie about the color of the sky or whatever. It'll be blue and he'll say it's red or whatever. So right in front of you, when you can just look and go, no, it's blue. So we've been trying to warn you guys, and now he's doing everything that he said that Kamala Harris would do. Now he's doing. He said she was going to lead us to wars, that she would start World War III. He's led us into wars. He started these wars, and I think we are on the verge of World War III. I mean, who knows where this could lead? This could trigger World War III. And all for nothing. He didn't have to start this war. It's just such bullshit. It's such bullshit. And fuck Benjamin Netanyahu for getting involved in this and whatever influence he had. But at the end of the day, it's still Trump that made the decision. So, there's no getting off the hook for that, Trump. Old Trumpy. You piece of shit. I really wish, though, that I really hope that if Trump does try to do something, either to nuke Iran or do a full-scale invasion or whatever, I really hope that there's some military leaders that will stand up to him, DPD says, I can't believe that this isn't a bigger fucking story. Why do we continue to allow this motherfucker to get away with it? When will enough be enough? I know. That's exactly what I was saying. .007 Kevin Troll Slayer's here. Hey, Troll Slayer 007. Good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Anna Moore says 100% DPD. Why aren't they in session now trying to impeach the madman? Well, because the Republican Party has the majority and they are completely 100% just, at least the leadership, Mike Johnson is not going to go against Trump for some reason, whatever it is. We've been trying to figure out, do they have compromise on these motherfuckers, or are they just, I don't know. What's the deal? I mean, I understand having some, like party loyalty. You're the same party as the president. You're going to support the president, but there's got to be a limit, right? There's got to be a line. Apparently, with these Republicans, I guess there is no line. They just fall in line. Aaron West is here. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Aaron is getting ready to go to the dentist. I had a crown fall out yesterday. Ooh, I've had that happen. Victor Harshman's here. 2547, yeah. Yeah, we need the Article 25 of that motherfucker. But they won't. I mean, unless he's about ready to push the button or something, that might be the only thing when they finally do something. Hopefully it's not too late by then. So I would say we were at full mount capacity, but I'm not sure if Aaron has left for the dentist yet, because I am, as you know, I'm behind in the chat by several minutes. So I'm not going to say that we're at full mod capacity because I don't know. Aaron might be in the dentist chair right now getting a new crown put on or something. It's funny, I was playing some Van Halen earlier this morning when I was getting ready, and so now I have just Van Halen in my head over and over and over again. Panama is the song. It's in my head. Panama. DVD says right now there are young children in Texas that are going into concentration camps not pregnant, but somehow during their kidnapping they become pregnant. I guess it's the Immaculate Conception. These concentration camps, these gulags, they are horrible. And in that clip, it talked about how people are dying in there. They're dying of tooth infections and committing suicide and just dying from the treatment that they're getting. I put that clip in there because, we haven't really heard too much about ICE lately in the news, in the big national news and stuff. But they're still there, and they're still doing shit. They're still killing people. And then the story about the staff sergeant that just got married, and then they ICE scooped her up. What the fuck, man? What the actual fuck? That's how fucking crazy this fucking place is. Absolutely fucking unacceptable, and you know, and I don't know if that guy shipped out yet. I don't know how old that story was. I don't know if he's shipped out, but he's got to not really have his, heart in into this war now. Especially they scooped up his wife. He's willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, and this is how they treat the guy. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's unacceptable. Come on, America. We can do better than this, can't we? Maybe we can't. Maybe we're just such a bunch of fucking idiots. This is the best we can do. Maybe the president is a reflection of who we are. And this president is a fucking idiot and a moron and really a corrupt individual. Is that what we are? Are we a bunch of corrupt idiots? Prove me wrong then. If we're not a bunch of corrupt, grifting, immoral fucking idiots, America, then prove me wrong. Stop electing these motherfuckers. Prove me wrong. Victor Harshman says, I'm not super religious, but Trump is definitely the Antichrist. Well, he's definitely not Jesus. Regardless of what Paula White might want you to think, he sure as fuck isn't Jesus. He sure as fuck isn't the second coming. That's for sure. Josh Sees is here. Hello, Josh. Good to see you. Is that Iran? If you're talking about that clip with ICE, I don't know which clip you're talking about. But... Oh, the moon. I guess the moon was playing. Brooklyn to the moon. I put that in there. I thought that was interesting. That's stuff that's going on. I have right now. I've got a live shot of, I guess, from the spacecraft up there in space, and you can just see a weird thing. I don't know. Like, I think it's the moon. It looks green, but you can just see a little sliver of that. So anyhow, I just thought that'd be interesting to put that in there. A little break from all the horse shit. Edamore says DJ Che is trying to beat Obama's deportation record. He will never reach those numbers. DPD says, hey, Ron Johnson, take your hope and prayers and shove them up your tiny urethra. Ooh, ouch. Ouch. Michelle's here. Michelle says it's going to be 92 in Phoenix. Yeah, it's supposed to be 91 here in Vegas. A little too warm to my liking for this time of year. Really shouldn't be that warm this time of year. John Glass says $20 gas by October. Could you imagine? I mean, I can't even imagine that. I'm not even going to argue with you on that. I mean, but could you imagine? I mean, we've had times during COVID and stuff when gas, I know there were places where it hit $6-7 a gallon. The national average was probably, what, $5 or whatever it was, but people fucking lose their shit over that. Could you imagine if it goes to $20 a gallon? And I guess we can say, we told you so all we want. It's not going to do anything. I guess it doesn't do anything. I don't know. We can say, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. I guess that doesn't do anything. Like, I guess it was Jolly Ginger was saying, if you can vote, I don't know if I used that clip or not. There's some things I didn't use, but fucking vote, man. Or maybe it was Texas Paul. That's why we've got to vote in November to at least be able to put some sort of harness on this motherfucker by getting at least the House back. And I don't see why we couldn't get the Senate back. I really don't see why. And the way things have been going with all these, we've seen these special elections, and we've seen a lot of flips going on. Mainly that's like House type of stuff, but I don't know. I don't know why it's so hard to win a goddamn Senate seat. You know? Damon Dog, the big dog, is here. Hey, Damon Dog, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. All thanks for popping on in. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for popping on in. Thanks for popping on in. So Aaron West, as of that point, was still in the chat. Again, I'm not sure if Aaron is off to the dentist office or not at this point. But I hope all goes well over there at the dentist office. Michelle says, I don't like or know Iran, but this is horrible. Yeah, I mean, just because we don't like a country doesn't mean we should just fucking nuke them. DPD says, good morning, afternoon, TJ. Hope you're feeling better. I guess I'm feeling better, but I still feel congested and groggy. A little bit. I don't know. It's one of those things that just kind of keeps hanging in there. Leave Me Alone, Mike is here. Hey, hello, Leave Me Alone. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate you for popping on in. I'm not sure if you subscribe or not, but please, and if you haven't given me a like, please give me a like and consider hitting that subscribe button if you would. That'd be great. We're up over 4,400 subscribers, trying to get to 5K, because we got a little thing called the 5K Hennessy Day. As soon as we hit 5K, I've got a bottle of Hennessy. I'm going to drink it on the live stream and just get totally fucking fucked up. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't gotten totally fucking fucked up in I don't know how long. Probably years since I got totally fucking fucked up. Fuck face fucked up. So, looking forward to that. Let's get the 5K. 5K Hennessy Day. All right. Josh C says, snowing here today. Wow, you guys are still getting snow, huh? That's crazy. Josh is up there in, I guess, upstate New York, I think, right? I don't know. MJ Daniels here from up Washington State way. Says, and isn't it amazing we are all still alive? It is amazing, I think. Yeah, it is kind of amazing. He hasn't fucking destroyed the world yet. But a lot of people have died. A lot of us haven't survived. A lot of us haven't made it through Trump. Going back to his first fucking administration when he totally intentionally mishandled COVID. Just because he thought it would either make him not look so bad or make him look better or whatever. Again, just showing how he has really no regard or concern for the well-being and the lives of his constituents, of the people that he says that he wants to lead. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody but himself. Damon Dog says, a friend of mine said Tuesday falls on 4/7. I told him I wish a grand piano would fall on 4/7. It can't happen soon enough, guys. I mean, I guess that's where we're at now. I just feel like I'm afraid to touch the thing I have the camera on because I've done this before, and then all of a sudden it just goes bleep. But I don't know. I'm just compelled. I feel like I need to point this down a little bit, but I don't know. Now I feel like it's all off center. I feel like and I have a big blank spot over there, the big orange blank spot, and I don't have any memes to put up. I have not been getting any memes lately. I mean, the only thing I can do is just find an old one. I got No Kings. That's kind of old now. We've got an old polling thing. That's old now. I don't have anything. I don't think I have anything I could really put up. Um, you know, unless we just put like a funny picture of Trump looking like he's from Planet of the Apes. I guess we could do that. I don't know. I feel like this is zoomed in or something. Oh, what did I do? I guess we could put the funny picture of Trump to make fun of him. It's actually a actual photo of Trump that is not, to my knowledge, has not been altered in any way. Speaking of Planet of the Apes, oh boy, what I've just opened up a thing here. Speaking of Planet of the Apes, as some of you may know, I was a gorilla in the 2001 Tim Burton movie called Planet of the Apes. Nothing is everything is oh my god, nothing is saved on here. It's really weird. It's hard to see stuff. Anyhow, you guys have all seen it before, but I just thought, well, there's Planet of the Apes. We've got a little theme going here, and now okay, so there's this picture. There's me. I'm kind of in the foreground there. The Red Ape soldiers. I used to kind of call myself, I guess. That's me there. On set on location at the Trona Pinnacles in California. We did a lot of filming out there. All right, today's theme is Planet of the Apes. Just because. I don't know. I am the Red Ape Soldier. I was the Red Ape Soldier. Anyhow. Brooklyn, we got Paul Burrows says, we, the unwilling, led by the unknown, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much for so long with so little that we are now qualified to do anything with nothing. But bum. MJ Daniel says the Republican Senate and Congress could stop this at any moment, but they are all robbing the U.S. blind and don't care. Yeah, there's lots of money to be had through their grifting, through their insider trading. So yeah, they'll be clinging on to that as long as they can, I suppose. Victor Harshman says America is officially a banana republic in just 16 months. So sad. You know, they say everything that Donald Trump touches turns to shit. So there's that. Yeah, I saw this too. MJ Daniel says VP Couch Sniffer is planning on going to help Orban in Turkey. From what I have heard, how much will that cost the U.S.? America first, my ass. Yeah, I saw he's over there and he's making speeches to try to save Orban because I believe he's losing, at least in the polling, Orban. So hopefully he goes down. Josh sees mover and shaker more like a draft jerker. Hey, I was just telling you what he thinks he is. He thinks he's a mover and shaker. He wants to be the big man. DPD says, I am telling you, they are planning to turn the military against us, so they will have not only the Nazi Gestapo, but also the military. They are choosing military members whose allegiance is for Trump. Exactly. That's why they've been, like I said, I mentioned that earlier, that they've either fired or forced people to resign. Anyone that they think isn't fully on board with them, and then replacing them with sycophants. That's what I said. Mr. Bob Newell's here. Hey, Mr. Bob Newell, good to see you. DPD, he knows exactly what he's doing in order to manipulate the markets. In this way, you have to know what you're doing. I did mention that also. He was doing that. Mr. Bob Newell, how's the coffee? It's pretty good. I got the chock full of nuts. Chock full of nuts coffee. Today's show brought to you by Chock full of nuts. Because we're all going nuts, aren't we? We're all going nuts. Mad Max here. Hey, Slava Ukraini. Absolutely. Slava Ukraini. Slava Ukraini. I could put the Slava Ukraini up. I think I have a Slava Ukraini in here somewhere in my little library. I've got Slava Ukraini. I got this one. There's one. Let's get rid of this fucker. Let's put this here. I support the people of Ukraine. There we go. That's better. That's a little bit better. Bob Newell says Trump will press the button at 8 p.m. tonight. That's what he said, huh? If they don't negotiate. Now, maybe he'll back out of it and say, well, they called me. And we were negotiating. And then Iran will go, we never called you. We never called anyone. No. Using Trump's, the way Trump describes just anyone who's not American, I think is, no, we did not call you. No. Robert Perez from those San Diego ways. Here, hey, Robert, good to see you. Robert says, top of the morning to you, Trucker John, and a lovely day to all the trucklers in the lounge. Oh, good to see you, too. Good to see you. Glad you're here. No. I can't take it no more. Mr. Bob Newell, do you believe in the 28th Amendment? What's the 28th Amendment? I forget. I'm sure I'll know it. I'll know, as soon as you tell me it. I forget what it is. Is that the one? Is that the? Which one is the? I don't know. You guys tell me what it is. Put it in the chat. Put in the chat what it is. That way, it's supposed to be good for the chat. That are supposed to be good for the algorithm. I think. So put that in the chat. What the 28th Amendment is. I would cheat. I have a little pocket Constitution, but it's way over there. This is when I wish I had those like stretchy arms. Victor Harshman says The Hill newspaper, quote, Trump's gone too far, invoke the 25th Amendment before it's too late, end quote. Finally, some balls. Maybe we'll start hearing more and more cries for that from the media, from national media, from legacy media, from other than just us lefties. Maybe, but maybe is it too late now? I don't know. I guess we'll find out at 8:00 tonight. Bob Newell says nobody likes Trump, other than the diehard maggots. They're still there. They still love him or like him, although a lot of them were pissed off about Epstein, mainly, I think, and now gas prices probably. So I think the MAGA following is shrinking. But there will be a hardcore, amount of them that will probably stick with them all the way to the end. All the way to the fucking end, man. Josh sees, I kind of was hoping the Easter Bunny would have tackled him on the lawn. Mad Max says, I'm loving that Iran is trolling the mofo with the Lego videos. You know what? I've only heard about these Lego videos. I have not seen any. Which I don't know. Why am I not getting that in my feed? What's up with that? Bob Newell, new hat. No, this is a very old hat. If you saw this hat when it was brand new, it was completely like the lettering was like white. It was as white as this, white background there on the white. But it just gets old and dingy. I wore this a lot when I was driving the truck, and everything just gets dirty. No matter how clean you try to keep things, when you're out on the road, everything gets dirty and dingy. No matter what. When you're in a big rig on the road every fucking day for weeks and weeks at a time. And I went through many of those Clorox wipes. I was always wiping things down, cleaning things off. Things get dirty on the road. Hey, Roxanne79's here. Hey, Roxanne, thanks for coming on in. Always good to see you, Roxanne79. David Dog is trying to wake up. Said peanut butter kicked his ass. Was this like not just a regular peanut butter? Was this like peanut butter pot? DPD says it should be known that numerous countries have transitioned from dictatorships to democracy. In Indonesia, in 1998, the people removed Suhar, to which welcomed in a democratic era. Is that what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to remove our current leader so that we can restore democracy, right? I really wish that we would restore democracy, get rid of this motherfucker, and I really wish that no Republican would ever win an election ever again, but they will, unfortunately. But I hate this back and forth bullshit. We need a good, I think, 40 or 50-year run of just Democratic leadership. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it, man. I'm not saying Democrats are perfect. I'm not saying that all will be fixed, but we will certainly be in a hell of a lot better place if we had and I hate doing this, going backwards and thinking, because it makes my brain hurt, but even going back to JFK not being assassinated, just think how much better the world would be today. But certainly just going back to Jimmy Carter, if Jimmy Carter had won a second term, how much better things would be. If George W. Bush had never won, and he clearly didn't win in 2000, but if Gore had been put in the White House instead of him, I mean, all these things, we would be so much better off. We would not be on the brink of World War III right now. We would be decades ahead in terms of renewable energy, getting off of fossil fuels, and that's really the key to it. It seems like our woes, I think can be directly attributed to huge multi-billion-dollar and multi-trillion-dollar industries, like the fossil fuel industry, for instance. Of course, the military-industrial complex. And the fact that our representatives can be so easily bought off. I think there's definitely a connection as to why we are not off of fossil fuels yet, and why we're not getting there. I mean, we've made strides when we have someone like Joe Biden in there, or even Barack Obama. We make some strides, even Clinton a little bit. But then I think the fossil fuel industry does everything in their power to get those people out of power and get the people they want in there, like a Trump, who will then do everything they can to sabotage renewable energy and put fossil fuels back in the forefront. But we would be decades ahead of where we are right now, on that front, if we had just not elected these fucking asshole Republicans. Prove me wrong on that one. Pub Bro's got to go mow the lawn. Peace out. Robert Perez says, ever since 2015, I got a gut feeling about Trump and know he is the Antichrist from the Bible and from Nostradamus. I don't know if he's the Antichrist, but I know that he is an evil son of a bitch who should be really nowhere near the levers of power. And Amor says, I guess when our dollar value is down to pennies, then perhaps everyone will realize that the man in office is crazy. Yeah, when people really start feeling the effects, like personally, more and more, that's a big wake-up call. I guess that's what it takes sometimes for some people. DPD 5844 says the mere thought that in 2026 The President of the United States is threatening to drop a nuclear bomb on any country and nothing but crickets. If he does do this, what will stop him from doing the same? You mean what will stop them from doing the same? I don't know. Oh, the same thing to a blue state. Oh. Well, then things are just total. If that happens, then the things are just totally. I mean, yeah. I mean, oh my god. If no one takes him out by then, you know, ugh. But there is a procedure. It's not like he has the red button on his desk and he can just slam it anytime. I mean, that's why they have codes. They have a procedure where they've got two operators and they're further than an arm's length away, type of a deal, and whatever. So if it came to that, I'm hoping there would be someone that would give someone enough time to take the motherfucker out by any means necessary at that point. So I don't know, man. But Mr. Romano, what's the hottest show in Vegas? Can I at least get a shout out? Shout out to Bob Newell, I guess. I don't know. Is that what you want? The hottest show? I don't know. I don't go to shows. Michelle says a lot of people will be walking at $20 a gallon. Aaron West, 5 minutes from the dentist. This was probably more than 5 minutes ago, so Aaron is probably at the dentist. I hope all is going well at the old dentist office. At the dentist office. Oh, I'm looking at the NASA. You can see the spaceship just floating in space. Just out there floating around in space. Victor Harshman says Trump just called into an event in Hungary where Vance is speaking and told a crowd that if it wasn't for Orban, their country would be overrun by black people. All right. That ought to do it. That ought to seal it. That ought to seal it up for Orban. Roxanne says, TJ, maybe some merch. You mean like for the picture? I don't know if I have any pictures of the merch in my little gallery. That's a good idea. Maybe I should do that. I don't know. I still have a cough, and this cough is a kind of a weird cough. Like I'll be fine, and then I'm afraid to cough because then I go into sometimes into this coughing. I don't know, where I can't stop coughing to the point where I feel like I'm going to vomit from the coughing. It's weird. It's very weird. David Dog says, Gas Buddy says 379 to 409 here in North Carolina today. That's probably, is that really high for you guys? Like really, really high? Because I know here in Vegas, even like before this whole thing started with Iran, I think gas was, I don't know, because I don't really buy it, so it's, but I think it was like 329 or something like that. Was sort of the average price around here for regular unleaded. Mad Max says 569 in Seattle. Melissa Spock, oh, the Equal Rights Amendment. Oh, yeah, of course I agree with that. That's not the Equal Rights Amendment. They never passed the Equal Rights. It never got passed, right? It hasn't been passed. Wait. I'm thinking of the one for like women's rights and shit. I don't know. IB YouTubing's here. Hey, IB YouTubing. Good to see you. But anyhow, anything about equal rights, civil rights, equal rights, I'm all for it. So I don't know why that would even be a question. In question. Demon Dog, killer THC infused peanut butter, very strong. There you go. There's the potheads. Can't even have just a regular old peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They gotta have pot in it. Mad Mac, orange asshole is threatening genocide tonight. A whole civilization will die tonight. In his words, what the fuck? Yeah, it's that should be enough right there, as far as I'm concerned. That should be enough right there to remove his ass. I'd be YouTubing. 25th Amendment means Vance becomes acting president. Well, I know it's not much of that's not very encouraging, but you know, I think I would rather. I think I'd rather have Vance to deal with. Maybe I don't know. Hey, Fred Franklin's here. Hey, Fred, good to see you. Thanks for popping on in. Haven't seen Fred in a while. I did watch some videos last week. Fred driving at, I want to say Beamer, and then he'll go, no, it's an Audi. And if I say Audi, no, it's a Beamer. But whatever it is, driving to work, it's really cool to watch him over in the Netherlands, I think. Fred, what are people saying about Trump and all this shit going on in Iran over there? What are they saying? If you're still here, you might be at work by now, I don't know, or home. Or no, I think now you're like at home. John Glad, coal is a fossil fuel. Did I not say that it was? Did I not say that? Did I say anything otherwise? Johnny Katz is here. Hey, Johnny Katz, good to see you. Thanks for coming on into the driver's lounge, the driver's lounge, the driver's lounge. Anamore says the madman is now threatening journalists with jail time for publishing articles about the Iran war. Excuse the hell out of me for saying Iran. Well, yeah, that's what these these dictators, they don't want a free press. They can't handle it. That's what the emperor has no clothes was kind of about, not being able to handle the truth. So you don't say anything disparaging to the king. Let's see. Johnny Cat says the election of Republicans is less than legitimate. The way they learned the system and gerrymandered the hell out of districts, the old pack and crack. Yeah, that's an issue. It is an issue. 100%. %. Fred Franklin, that's a great job having the Artemis 2 doing that. So is that what you guys are watching, the Artemis 2 stuff? You're not so much keeping up on Iran and Trump and shit, I guess. Josh C says 44 past the hour. Hopefully that means I'm only 7 minutes behind. And not like an hour and 7 minutes behind. Bob Newell says the astronauts clogged the toilet bowl. The lady astronaut had to unclog it. Mr. Spock says it's not going to be so smooth for Artemis 2 going so far into space. Will subject them to cosmic rays. That's how the Fantastic Four were created. Damon Dog says the last time I filled up, it was $2.79. Wow. Fred Franklin says regular unleaded is about $5 a gallon. In the Netherlands, well, we've caught up to you. We're about $5 a gallon now. Here. In the Netherlands, yeah, Fred Franklin. Thanks for being here, Fred. I appreciate you hanging out. Michelle, you sound like I have a cold. Yeah, I do. I've been sick. And it's one of those things where it's like, isn't the cold only supposed to last like 3 to 5 days at the most? I think this has been like 2 weeks now. I've been YouTubing. I live near Holloman Air Force Base, and yesterday there was a lot of jets flying by. I think Trump is serious about the threats. Our president knows he is dying and doesn't care about anyone. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that worries me too. Like, you know, if he's gonna go down, he'll just take. He doesn't mind taking the whole world down with him. You know. In a way, it kind of reminds me of like the Dead Zone or something. I've caught up to the chat. So I guess that's it. I guess we're done. DPD says Vance is far more dangerous than Trump. Vance is an enigma that hasn't fully been formed. He has many layers and changes his coat like the wind. The orange pedophile is about money. Vance is a true believer. I don't know what Vance is. I don't know what he is, but I mean, I know it's like if we get rid of Trump, it's not like we're getting anybody that's any better. I realize that, but I don't know. Mr. Spot, maybe it's a new COVID strain. I don't know. Josh says, how many times did he change his name? MJ Daniel says, DJT has always hated people in general and would love to take us out. He's definitely sick, mentally sick, and like I said, really has no I guess no right, or should not be anywhere near the levers of power in any way, shape, or form. And here he is, the president of the United States. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Petrazi, 1920. Petrazi, 1920. Is here. Petrazi says something. Hey, TJ in chat, I've been lurking, but wanted to say hi. Well, thanks for coming in and saying hi. I appreciate you. MJ Daniel says that VP Couch Sniffer, aka JD Vance, I guess, is an opportunist and a sociopath. He will do what he is told to get more for himself. And I'm beginning to think sociopathy, being a sociopath, is almost a prerequisite for this administration. You look at him, Stephen Miller, definitely a sociopath. Trump's a sociopath. Yes, DPD, I saw your comment about the health. I don't need to read that. I read it. I saw it. Mad Max says, I've always felt that the orange pedo wanted revenge against Americans for putting him on trial for his crimes. He feels we cannot do that, and he will F any single person as well as the USA itself. Well, I think he definitely, I think he's been running just to stay out of prison. Another motivating factor for him. Mr. Spock says, how close is the doomsday clock now? It's got to be close. I don't know where it is, but it's probably the closest that it's ever been. 11 hours and 59 minutes and 59 seconds, probably. I wouldn't doubt it if that's where it is. I would not doubt it. All right, guys. We are living in scary times, that's for sure. I know replacing Trump with Vance is not really that great of an option. And it might be a worse one. I think all we can do now really is try to hang on to November. You know? Who knows? I mean, November in a certain sense is not very far away, but in another sense, it's very far away. A lot can happen between now and November. God only knows where we're going to be as a nation by November. Will there even be a planet left? I mean, who knows? That's pretty scary to even think that, and have it not be some like joke or some improbable thing. I think we are at 11 minutes, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. What did I say? Yeah, 11 hours, 59 minutes on the doomsday clock. And that's pretty damn scary if you actually think about it. But if we do get to November, make sure you vote. Jolie says 85 seconds to midnight, and it is closest it's ever been. See, I said it was closest it's ever been. Yeah, Jolie says we got memberships. Yes, we do have got memberships starting at $1.99 a month. So that'd be, if you guys want to become a member of Trucker John Show, that'd be great. And we got super chats, and we've got liking, subscribing, and sharing, which doesn't cost a dime. And you can also help support the show with the Buy Me a Coffee link there, or with PayPal. Thank you, Jolie. Search for you. I'm hanging on by a thread. I know, it's just I think we all are hanging on by a thread. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable how much pain and destruction this one man has wrought in a relatively short period of time. I mean, we can say in the last year and a half of this presidency, or going back to 2015 when he came down the escalators, the golden escalator or whatever. It's just been all downhill since then, you know. We had a brief little blip of getting back to some normalcy and restoring some normalcy when we had Biden. Getting us out of COVID, getting us out of not only a pandemic, a global pandemic, but a global recession. We were the envy of the world. Regardless of what people want to say about Biden. And it was a shitty economy, and shitty this and shitty that. Regardless, report after report after report after report after report stated that we were the envy of the world. Because when we had 9 or 10% inflation, they had 20 and 25% inflation. I think some places even more. But that wasn't good enough, apparently, for some people. They said, no, I think we'll go back. Let's go back to the halcyon days when we were losing 4,000 people a day. Let's go back to those times. This makes you shake your head, doesn't it? Just shake. Are you guys doing a lot of shaking your head? You know, that's, my head is shaking so much, it's going to fall right off, man. Aaron West, I'm done with the dentist and driving home. Alrighty. Well, I hope it all went well. Seems like it was a pretty quick deal there, so probably sounds like no issues. Trustees wish that escalator just kept going down to hell. All the way to hell. MJ Daniels says, hope people are paying attention this time. There will be no more do-overs. I hope so too, MJ. I hope this is a huge wake-up call. If we survive this, you know, the old saying, that doesn't kill me, only makes me stronger. So if we survive this, hopefully we come out stronger for it. Hopefully we come out more knowledgeable for it. Have some wisdom come out of this. And we never, ever, ever, ever elect an asshole like this ever again. And I think one easy way of doing that is just to never vote for any goddamn Republicans. Ever again. But hopefully we'll get through it. You know? Hopefully we will get through it. right? I mean, of course, hopefully we'll get through it. I know these next few months are going to be scary. Between now and November, this could be probably the most maybe scariest times I've ever lived through. Just look at how much damage Trump has already done. And we've got, 6 months or less than 6 months till the midterm elections in November, just under 6 months. So I don't know if we're going to make it or not to November. I really don't. And that's kind of crazy to be serious about that. I mean, I'm serious. This isn't hyperbole. I don't know, man. And this is not good. If I'm thinking it, millions of other people are thinking it, are living in this fear and just wondering, are we going to even survive as a country? Will we survive even as a planet? So, man, it's crazy. It's so fucking crazy. Josh C says, TJ, did you get your storage unit sorted out? No, it's still there. I mean, I paid and got everything caught up, but on the payment part of it, but I can't get that out until I can get a vehicle or get the money to get a vehicle or a van or something to go empty everything out. It's over 200 miles away. Yeah, it's like 280 miles away or 260 miles away. So it's a logistical thing. I got to get a van or something, and it's just the whole thing. It's very expensive. John Glenn, that's crazy talk. YouTube says Georgia has runoff elections today. Dem Sean Harris may take Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat. Do it, Georgia. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen him. He's a good guy, a good candidate. I know. Previously, was it Marcus Flowers they tried to run in there, and he seemed like a really good guy. These are military guys. This guy here, I think, Sean Harris, I think, very high ranking. I don't know if he was a general, but I think he was very high ranking. He seems like a really kind of a salt of the earth kind of guy, a good guy. Certainly, I would vote for him, but my understanding is that district is a ruby red district. So, but hopefully, maybe we've seen stranger things happen. I mean, with sort of flips. I don't know if stranger things, but we've seen some historically heavily, I think, or at least districts that voted for Trump and with big numbers. We've seen some of those districts around the country get flipped. This will be interesting to see. This is sort of we'll just call it like a bellwether type of thing, like where if Harris or Harrison or Harris, okay, if Sean Harris if he can win, that will be amazing. As good of a guy he is, as good as a candidate he is, I think as good as a representative he would make, for him to win would be amazing. In that district that is ruby red, it had reelected MTG what she served, how many, just 2 terms or something. But I think if she would have stayed in, she probably could have been there forever. If he could win this, that will boy, will that ever send a loud message to the GOP? But we'll see how it goes today. Keep our eyes on that today. in that. We'll know sometime this evening, I guess, probably. Mad Max says, I heard on the radio this AM about a 17-year-old kid making over $7,000 a month buying abandoned storage units and selling stuff on eBay. Laughing out loud, good money for a hustling kid. That's good money. I know I've seen of course we've seen like Storage Wars, right, on TV. My stuff in my storage, it has been scheduled to go on auction a few times, and then I was able to get the payment in before that happened. So I've seen the auction, a couple of the auction sites, and I saw my stuff in there and stuff. It's kind of weird because they take pictures of they just take a picture, like just like looking into the unit. And then that got me thinking about, because you can, in fact, I joined one of those auction sites, and that got me thinking, hey, I wonder if I could turn this into a money making business and bid on some of those, and then sell that shit on eBay or wherever, or Facebook Marketplace. But I don't know. I mean, apparently you can. This kid's making $7,000 a month, but yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of this shit is for younger people. I'm old. I'm kind of run down, wore down. I don't have the energy. It takes a lot of energy to do that shit. Yeah, DPD says Sean Harris was a brigadier. So he was a general. He's a brigadier general. He served 40 years in the military. Yeah, he's looks like a great guy, great person. Would make a great representative. But like I said, that district is, from what I've read and heard about, is ruby red. So it'll be interesting if he could win that district. That would be amazing. It would be amazing, and it would send a message loud and clear that that Trump is not winning over people. He's not keeping people. People are falling away from him. People are running away from him. And that should send a clear message to the rest of the GOP why they need to get rid of this motherfucker. But we shall see. We shall see. Josh sees who's his opponent. I don't even know, but I'm not sure if that really matters. I mean, in a ruby red district, they're going to vote for the Republican no matter what, under normal circumstances. But the thing is, we're not in normal circumstances. Trump has made it so that you can kind of throw out normal circumstances out the window. I think this would be a great, like I say, bellwether, a great indicator of where we're at as a country. And even if Sean Harris, if it's really close and he still loses, that still tells us something. To be able to chip into that ruby red district, into those votes, where people just vote for Republicans year in and year out, no matter what, and then to have a Democrat come in there, and even if he loses very closely, that still tells us something, I think. IB YouTubing says Trump endorsed Clay Fuller. So is that who's running in there in that district, in that race? Clay Fuller? Clay. What's with all these Clays? Mad Mac, you can't be bothered by bugs or dirt or cobwebs. Got to clean the stuff, photograph the stuff, do some research on prices, upload the info on eBay, box and ship the stuff, etc. Got to hustle to make money. Yeah, like I said, I think that's a young person's thing, or someone who's really, still in good shape and stuff. But it could be done. I mean, I could do it. I think I could do it, but it would be like a full-time job for sure. But I've thought about doing that kind of stuff. There's also another site that I have, because they have a place here in up in Vegas, like the north in Vegas. I forget the name of the company, but you can bid on pallets of, basically they're like returns from stores, like I guess like Lowe's and Home Depot, or I guess even Walmart or whatever. They just have these pallets like shrink wrapped, and it'll say on there, like it'll get a description. It'll say like, electronics or furniture or kitchen appliances, or it'll kind of say what's on there, but it's all shrink wrapped, and you don't really know how bad of condition it is, because most of the stuff is returned for a reason, I guess. But people bid on those, and they sell them. Some of them have brick and mortar shops where they have little, where they have these. I don't know if it's like a pawn shop or just a little used, used appliances and used furniture store or whatever. That people have that, and probably a lot of them just go and sell things on eBay and Facebook Marketplace and other sites like that. But they bid on these pallets, and they'll go for whatever they go for. That's I don't know if there's a minimum on those, but it might go for $50. It might go for $500 for a pallet, depending on how enticing it looks. And I remember I used to, as a truck driver, I used to make deliveries there with a 50-foot trailer full of those pallets. That's how I found out about the place. Actually, I was sitting in the dock door and I was watching as I was being unloaded. I was watching people drive in with their either like U-Haul box vans, or they had trailers, they had trucks and with trailers, and I was watching the dock workers, like with forklifts, bring out the pallets that these people had bought these pallets. And so then I went online when I was sitting there going, oh, what's going on here, and it was like, then I found out the place I was delivering to was this place where people could bid on these pallets, and they just get all this stuff and then they just turn around and sell it. And so I'm on that site too, but I've never done it. But I thought it would be interesting to buy a pallet and see what you get, and then list it all on eBay and Facebook Marketplace, and I guess Offer Up or whatever. There's a few sites, and see if you make any money on it. I thought about doing that. As old as Zen is here. Good to see you. Is that like a play on the term as old as sin? Because whenever I say as old as sin, I always think of as old as sin. And as old as sin is probably going, duh. As old as sin says no. Okay. So you didn't say duh. Well, it sounds like as old as sin, as old as in. I don't know. Let's see. I got Boston Brian on. He's talking about the crazy shit that Trump is saying. So, yeah, it's a big topic. Like I said, I don't know if I've ever been as seriously frightened for just not only the country surviving, but the entire planet surviving as I am right now. I know I don't look scared because I'm just sitting here all calm and shit, but underneath this calmness, no, I don't know. I mean, it's not like this. It's not like inside I'm screaming, but it's a scary thought. And I just hope and pray to God that we make it to at least November election day. And then, of course, to the following January, when all of those offices will actually be sworn in and stuff. The new Congress and everything. Mad Max says almost good enough weather to start riding my moto again. I'm excited. Be careful on those motos. Goddamn, people don't see you. Doesn't matter if you got a big old hog. People don't fucking see you. I've never been a big biker, but I did have a way back. And this isn't as big as a hog, but I had a little, well, not little, but a little Kawasaki 750 LTD that I cruised around in, and people act like you're invisible. You know. Mad Max says it's not good to stress over things that you have absolutely no control over. Yeah, I know, and I don't really stress over it, but just in our conversation here, it just made me think. Like we're fucked. 5 months, 6 months, that's a long time with this president because he's constantly doing fucking shit every fucking day. Every fucking day. I'll give it to the guy. I mean, he is somehow able to fit in golf and whatever treatments he's getting at the hospital there with, fucking over the world. Somehow he manages to work it in. Somehow he manages to work that all in. I don't know how he does it. I do think it's kind of odd, though, or maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not odd, but how they really do keep his health a secret, and they're not supposed to. We're supposed to know. We're supposed to know if he's going through a serious health issue and he's getting treatment and stuff. We are, as American people, we are supposed to know this shit, and they're hiding it. Why are they hiding it? Zoltan says, I'm borderline disengaged now, still buying Trump stickers to put on gas pumps, though. Yeah, do that. At least do that. It's only fair. They did that for Biden. It's only fair we do that for Trump. DVD, yet another cover-up. Yeah, why are they covering this up? Would the American people lose faith in our president if we knew how sick he actually is? I think we're already there. I think we've already lost faith in him. If we knew how serious it was, I guess. I guess they're going to try and keep Trump as propped up. The whole Weekend at Bernie's thing. They're going to keep him in power as long as they can until the very last second that they pull the plug on that motherfucker. They're going to Weekend at Bernie that guy all the way to the very fucking end, man. And that's probably because they don't have much faith or hope in J.D. Vance. We can be as afraid of him as you want, Vance. But apparently, the people around Trump and the GOP in general, they know that Vance really He's not going to have MAGA. He's not going to have that a really strong base of support. So they want to keep Trump at the head as long as possible. And they got to keep pumping him full of whatever they're pumping him full of to keep him going. They're going to keep doing that all the way until it just won't work anymore. Because for some reason, Donald has a following, of MAGA for some goddamn reason that I can't figure out why. I've never seen the appeal. Ever. Even before he was president. Even when he was just a fucking, disgusting, nauseating New York City billionaire who was in the tabloids going back to the 80s and 90s in the tabloids. That's how long this motherfucker has been in the American consciousness, I guess. And he was always in the Inquirer, and he was always about who he was dating and who he was cheating with and who he was marrying and who he was divorcing and all that bullshit, which I didn't give a fuck about then. And you'd see him pop up on the talk shows and shit. And I never liked the guy. And then when he ran for president in 2015, I was like, good, go ahead and run. You're just gonna lose. I've never seen the appeal. I don't get it. Even during his campaign, he never said or did anything that was like, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe this guy's onto something. Then it was always like, what the fuck? I don't understand the appeal. Even to this day. Even standing amongst the maggots at the Trump rally here in Las Vegas during the 2024 campaign. Seeing when Trump was on stage and seeing these maggots around me just soaking in every word, just in rapt attention. It was weird. I mean, they used, like when Obama won, I remember the righties were saying how we were idolizing and worshiping Obama and all this shit, which we weren't. We were just so fucking happy that we finally fucking won, and but to see these fucking maggots just really just like they're just every, and this is when he was the rally I went to is when he was talking about the shark and the battery, and they're just like, oh yeah. I mean, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. I mean, I guess I could see if it was like, a few million people, because there's always going to be a few million fucking weirdos and shit. But I mean, this was a good 33 and a third % of the people that were just falling for this shit. Millions and millions and millions of people all across the country buying his merch, talking about merch, buying his stupid MAGA hats, buying his stupid Bibles, buying shoes that said Trump, the golden shoes and all that shit, buying his fucking NFTs. But I don't get how, it could be to that extent that he not only won the first time, but then he won a second time. I don't fucking get. I know we talk about, rigging the election and Elon Musk and all that stuff, and those are all, I think, valid concerns and stuff like that. But nevertheless, I don't know why people vote for him in the first place to even get the support that he did get, like from the MAGAs, from the Republicans. I don't get the support that he gets. It really makes no sense to me, but I guess it just shows that we really are a lot worse than I thought we were as a people. I'm not saying all of us are bad and not, but obviously there's a lot more racism and prejudice and bigotry in this country than I thought. I mean, I knew it was there. I'm not a complete bumpkin. I knew it was there. I knew we still had all of those things, of course, but to the extent that we would actually elect this motherfucker, and not once but twice, to be the president of the United States. Now, I didn't think that we had, racism all sewn up just because we elected Barack Obama. But I did think that it was a sort of a hurdle that we got over, or that we crossed. It was sort of a hill that we climbed, that we could sort of check that off the box. Like, okay, we've got, and I know that probably doesn't sound good, but we've got a black guy as president now. I'm not just, I don't mean that to say like, okay, we're done with that. We've been there, done that. Now we don't have to do it again. But what I mean is that what I'm trying to say is I thought that we had reached a level where it wouldn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you're black or a person of color. You can run for president and still have that's not really going to be an impediment for the most part. I realize we're always going to have some racists. We're always going to have some old Confederates, old holdovers from those days. They're still there. They're still descendants of the Confederates, and we're going to have that for. It might take centuries to finally to completely wash them out of this, but I thought we had reached a point where, being a black person wouldn't be an issue. That it really wouldn't be an issue. But then, I guess it still is, because Kamala Harris ran, and she had the sort of the double whammy of not only being a person of color but being a woman. So I guess I'm just disappointed that we're not maybe as evolved as I thought we were overall. Like I said, I know we're always going to have these fucking racists and bigots, but I thought their numbers were shrinking, at least to the point where we wouldn't end up with a Donald Trump over a very good, very qualified candidate like Kamala Harris. Now, I realize the whole Kamala Harris thing was, very unique, with the nominee dropping out with only like 3 months to go. That whole thing, we've talked about this before, but I think if Kamala Harris had the whole campaign season to run, she probably would have. Then she would have won. Maybe, I don't know, but who knows? But I do think the shortness of the campaign that did play a big part in it too. But like I say, if we survive these next 5 or 6 months, or even survive to January of next year, and it seems weird saying if we survive it. I'm not saying it lightly. I'm not. That isn't just a throwaway comment. That's reality. But if we can hang on and survive keep our country, keep our democracy. God, I hope people have learned a lesson. I really hope people have learned a goddamn lesson. John Glass says the damage done is permanent. Prepare. Well, thanks for that uplifting comment. Yeah, I'd be YouTubing. Trump was out there telling them what they wanted to hear. I am not a politician. I am a successful businessman. I will release the Epstein files. And especially in this 2024 run, he really turned it up in terms of totally opposite world, of what he was about. DBD says those racist motherfuckers out there have never forgiven themselves for voting for a black. I don't believe that. The people who voted for Obama, I don't think are the problem. The people that voted for Obama, I don't think have any regrets about voting for Obama. For the most part, I don't think that's the issue. I think Hillary Clinton lost because of the Electoral College, and with Russia's knowledge of that and knowing where to attack with pinpoint accuracy. So I think our own system let us down. This Electoral College bullshit let us down. I think Kamala Harris lost because 10 to 15 million people that voted in 2020 didn't show up. And that 20 to 15 million, I think, was a combination of not feeling excited enough. Some people have to be excited to vote, which I don't really get. To me, voting should just be like a no-brainer, just something you do, civic duty and all that. You don't do it because you're excited. You do it because it's necessary to make sure we have the right people winning these elections, good people winning elections. So I think that out of that 10 to 15 million, you had people that for some reason they weren't excited to vote. I think you had people that maybe didn't feel that they knew Kamala Harris enough. They didn't. They needed more info. Apparently, the 3 months that she campaigned wasn't enough. Even though, after 3 months, you're pretty much saying the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm not sure what more they needed to know. And I think it was also people who probably, there's probably racism in there about a person of color. See, I'm talking about this 10 to 15 million. Like, I know the maggots don't want a person of color. I know there are lots of just Republicans who maybe don't identify as maggots. They don't want a person of color. I think primarily Democrats are. I think, I don't know what number will we put on Democrats. Well, I mean, I don't know how you could be a Democrat and be prejudiced about. I know Democrats aren't perfect. We're not all perfect, whatever. But I don't know how you could call yourself a Democrat and then have color be a barrier to the presidency. So this 10 to 15 million that didn't show up, now they're made up of probably Republicans, Democrats, Independents. Why didn't they show up? Like I said, some of them weren't excited enough. Some of them felt they didn't know Harris enough. Some of it was Gaza. Well, those ones voted for Trump. So out of that, the people that didn't show up, who were they? What were they thinking? The people that didn't show up. I don't think it was really racism. I think it was just not feeling motivated for some reason. They weren't motivated, and I don't know why it should take a whole lot of motivation to vote. I've never really understood that either. I vote in every election. I get my ballot, I fill it out, I turn it in. It's really easy. I don't need to really be highly motivated to do that, other than the motivation of not wanting Republicans to win. That's my motivation. I guess there's just a lot of these undecided people, these non-affiliated people that just they really labor over it, who to pick or not to pick. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. And I know DPD wants to make it a law, everyone vote. I think we should make it a national holiday. What I think. But anyhow, as far as like the racist motherfuckers, I don't think the racist motherfuckers voted for Obama in the first place. So as old as says, I don't get why anyone working for a private company would vote for a businessman. John Glad says if the Epstein show he is a pedo, his followers will still be followers. Well, what they do is they will rationalize, or they will, they'll say, no, this is fake, or whatever. They will, they won't believe. They will deny. They will just deny. DPD says, TJ, there were individuals that voted for President Obama who then turned around and voted for the orange pedophile. The same way you had people who voted for President Biden switch to the pedo again. Well, that may be. I don't know if it's in significant numbers, though, that made a difference. I mean, you could always find someone who did that shit, but I don't know if that's in any significant number that people who voted for Obama voted for Trump. I don't know if that was a significant number that made the difference. And if they did, I don't think it was because of racism necessarily. I mean, that for some of them maybe, but I don't think it was for racism. I think it's because, especially in 2015 and 2016, they thought Trump was Bernie, because Trump essentially took Bernie's campaign and just ran with that. So I think people who don't understand how Congress works and how majorities work and all that kind of stuff just thought that Trump was going to be like Bernie. I think there was a lot of that. I don't think that had anything to do with racism or regretting that they voted for Obama, and so they're going to vote for Trump. There might have been some of that, but I think, and I Don't have facts to back this up, but because I haven't looked at any polling or how they've broken it down. I did, or maybe I did. I just don't remember. But if they've done it, I'm sure they did autopsies on these campaigns. And if they were able to identify Obama voters that voted for Trump and what their motivation was or why they did that, I would guess that it was more because they felt that Trump was going to be more like Bernie, and they liked Bernie's campaign. They liked the populism that Sanders was bringing, and when Sanders was out, they thought Trump would be more like Bernie. I think that's why they may have switched. I think there was more of that switching than the other that you're talking about. But I don't know. I could be wrong. You could be right. Who knows? As old as Zen says, most of those people are not consciously thinking, I won't vote for a black woman. They just say, just not her. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I'm not a saint. But it's and I kind of hate that expression, like that I'm colorblind, because I you know I mean, I know it's a figure of speech and it's supposed to be that you don't judge people by the color of their skin, and I would like to think that I don't judge people by the color of their skin, but I do see that people are of a certain color or whatever. I'm not literally colorblind. But when I saw Kamala Harris, my first thought wasn't like, oh, she's a black woman. I mean, I just thought, wow, she's gutsy. She's because I remember her like grilling Jeff Sessions. Remember those? Remember when she was a senator? Way back when she was a senator, and she would grill fucking like Jeff Sessions and these other Republicans. That's what I remember. I mean, I knew Kamala Harris before that. I mean, she was around in California or whatever, but I think the first time I really saw her kind of like in action was during some of these Senate hearings, and she was like just going full, like you know, district attorney on their ass. You know what I mean? She was just like you could tell that she was a trial lawyer who didn't take shit from people. That's when I saw Kamala Harris. That's what I saw. I saw this fucking gutsy woman that didn't take shit. I didn't see that. I wasn't like, oh, she's a black woman or whatever. I just saw that kind of ferociousness, and that's what I liked about her. So I don't understand really how people just go, well, she's black and she's a woman, and I can't vote for that. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. MJ Daniel, mail-in elections like Washington would be a great option. Yeah, I think so, but I'm not sure what that would have to do with people not being prejudiced or bigoted. DVD, you have two highly qualified women who both lost to a draft dodger who cheated on his wives, said sexual comments about his own daughters, and still he was elected. Yeah. And I remember in 2016, Republican women wearing T-shirts that said, "He can grab me by the pussy." Ha 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 ha. Like it's just some fun and games. What is wrong with these people? What the fuck is wrong with these motherfuckers? They're not right in the head. And it is such a double standard. If they had a hot mic recording of, I guess then of Clinton saying, I see a guy and I just go right up to him and I just grab their cock. You can do that when you're a celebrity or whatever. I mean, the world would have come undone. Sean Hannity would have blown a blood vessel in his head, Bill O'Reilly, if Hillary Clinton had said something like that. Can you imagine? I mean, we always talk about the double standards and the what ifs and all that shit. But it's true. It's so fucking true. These double fucking standards. How they let Trump get away literally with murder now, I think. And literally with sexual assault. And just play it off and make t-shirts to say, he can grab me by the pussy. You stupid, funky cunts. But if a fucking Democrat wears a tan suit, my God, you would think that that was the end of the fucking world. And it's all we hear. When Obama wore the tan suit, that's all we heard for like 2 weeks. But fast forward a little bit, and Donald Trump can talk about grabbing women by the pussy, and we're going to make t-shirts about it and laugh. Fuck you, you fucking Republican scum. You lying fucking hypocrites. Fuck you. It's disgusting. And it's another, I'm shaking my head. It's a shaking my head moment. DPD says we pick and choose what we want to hear, see and hear. Oh wait, I already read that one. There are 7 continents in there. I guess I didn't read that one, but it sounded like I was rereading something. But yeah, it's a head shaker. It's a head scratcher. Now I can understand why Fox News does what they do, because they solely exist to be a propaganda machine for the Republican Party in America. That's what they're created for. But to think that there's so many people that buy into that shit, that it would actually get us where we are today, is mind-boggling. It's fucking mind-boggling. So now here we are with the doomsday clock, as close as it's ever been to doomsday. We're wondering if we can even make it to November, and not just make it in a, as some sort of figure of speech, but I mean actually fucking survive it. And not just this country, but the whole fucking planet. And those are serious concerns. That's not just some whimsical thing I'm saying. I think those are legitimate concerns as to whether or not we'll even be standing in 5 or 6 months from now. Yeah, Johnny Cash, true. Look at what happened to Al Franken on the comedy tour with consent from the other comedian, one lousy picture, and that's all it took. And yeah, they took him out with the Me Too movement, and by his own people. Democrats, I guess, afraid to look like hypocrites and maybe get some political points out of it. Fucking, what was it? The little blonde Amy, whatever fucking name it was, trying to get some political points out of it. Threw him right out under the bus. And Al Franken was probably on a on a path to running for president. I would not have been surprised if at some point, if Al Franken had stayed in the Senate, would be a presidential contender. And that now he's completely out of the Senate and will never go back, because even though people ask him to go back, no, he's out now and he's old and he's enjoying his life with his grandchildren in Minnesota. But yeah, that's what we do. DPD says we should be exhausted about how this society treats women. They make up every excuse in the world for a man, but not a woman. This is who we have always been, and nothing will ever change unless and until, I guess, we prove it at the ballot box. People are saying that Kamala Harris is going to run again in 2028. Again, if we even are around in 2028. But would you guys vote for Kamala Harris? Would you? I would. I mean, I'm not counting her out. People are saying she's going to run like it's a bad thing. I say fine, let her run. Let her go through the process. If she becomes the nominee, I will fucking vote for her. I will vote for whoever the nominee is, but I will vote for her. As far as in the primary, I don't know. I have to see who else is running, and I'll gauge it on who I like in the primary process. It might be Gavin Newsom that I like. It might be J.D. Pritzker that I like. It might, whoever. It might be somebody that I haven't even thought of yet who's going to be running. It might be Kamala Harris. I like her a lot. But I'm going to be basing it, I'm not basing it on the color of her skin, and I'm not basing it on her gender. I will base it on who I think has the best policy positions and ideas, and who I believe the most. Who I think is not just blowing smoke up my ass. You know? You know what I mean? So, but I mean, what do you guys think of that? If Kamala Harris were to run again in 2028, do you think she should? Should she not? I'm going to say, yeah, she should. If she wants to, if that's what she wants to do, fine. And again, stack her up against all these other nominees. Let's see who comes out on top. If she comes out on top, then I say, fine, let's go for it. The only thing is, I'm a little, I don't know if it's hesitant is the word, but because it seemed to me that when she ran, in 2024, well, hopefully she learned, lessons, right? But it did seem like there was a lot of excitement, right? We've talked about this before. Excitement. There was electricity. It was really kind of amazing. I went to the one here in Vegas. It was amazing. I was almost brought to tears of just when I saw her walk on the stage. I thought, oh my God, I'm watching. My sincere thought was, I am watching the next president of the United States who just entered the stage. That was my thought, and I teared up. I mean, there was something just going on. It was something magical about that. And I'm thinking they're never going to recreate that. But I guess it's probably maybe a good thing, because you don't want her to lose. You don't want it to be completely recreated. You want the change to be this time. If she or whomever wins the nomination, you want them to win the goddamn the presidency over J.D. Vance. It's going to be Vance that's going to run, whether he becomes president, sooner or not. J.D. Vance is going to run. He'll probably be the nominee. I mean, who else is going to be the nominee for the Republicans? They're all a bunch of fucking shit stains. They're all a bunch of turds. We're going to have Rubio and fucking Ted Cruz again. They're going to wheel him out. I mean, who are they going to get to run? And who's going to win their nomination? It's going to be Vance. and it should be quite obvious that he's just a big shit stain, and he shouldn't even get one vote. But of course, it'll be whoever. It's going to be close. It's always close. And but I think we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Like I said, I don't even know if we're going to make it to November. Mad Max says, I really want Democrats in Congress and the House to speak the fuck up, and they have to all be on the same page for what they say. The more people hear the same truth from them, the more people listen. Yeah, I think so. I think they need to get out more, Big Hook's here. Big Hook says, hey, by the way, thanks for being here, Big Hook. Big Hook says, Rachel Maddow certainly warned us that Trump was dismantling the entire government while the Republicans just watch and say nothing. Yeah, Rachel Maddow has been a big, a big voice, has a big audience. Jolie says, I absolutely love Kamala. Yeah, I do too. I think she's great. I think she would have been a great president. Clinton would have made a great president. Kamala would have been great. I mean, just think, if Kamala Harris had won, we would not be on the verge of World War III. We would not be thinking about our, our existence. We would not be having $5 gas prices. We would not be having inflation rising. None of that shit. We wouldn't have people being shot in the streets by racist ICE officers. We wouldn't have people being just scooped up and thrown in to these concentration camps. None of that shit. None of it. Anamore says, of course I would vote for her. Kamala 2028. Azola Zen says, yes, she can always run on having been right about everything. Yeah, you would think so. You would think so, right? That she could definitely do that. Big Hook says the MSM outside of MS Now is not really giving them the microphone, and the leadership are both corporate sellouts. Schumer and Jeffries both take AIPAC money and are silent. I don't know. I've seen Jeffries come out a lot more, I think, lately, or in the last couple months. I really wish Schumer would retire and that AOC would run for his seat. That's what I wish. If not for president. I mean, I think she would be a great president. But like I've said, I've been saying this all along, there's no real hurry for AOC. She's so young still. She could do a couple terms in the Senate and still be young enough, to run for president. Then, maybe let's let, maybe Kamala Harris. Maybe by then, if Kamala Harris could win and she does 2 terms, maybe we would be able to have AOC follow that up with 2 more terms. That's 24 years. Just think if we had 24 years of good Democratic women in leadership. I mean, how many times have we heard and we've talked about if women ruled the world, or women are, well, this could be the chance. This could be our chance in America to have good, and I'm not talking Condoleezza Rice or whatever the Republicans try to put up. I'm talking fucking good, fucking steady liberal Democrats. I know AOC is more progressive, whatever. But just think if we had 2 terms of Kamala and then follow up with 2 terms of AOC. And I know I'm getting really in dreamland here, but Could you imagine that? How many years is it? Wait, 4 and 4 is 8, and that's 16 years. Okay, I added somehow. I added another. Somehow I added some more terms in there. Okay, so it would be 16 years. And then the next 8 years might be I don't know, some other chick. I don't know. But I mean, come on, man. Let's give them a chance. How many? Let's stop. Let's shit or get off the pot. We keep saying like, hey, if women rule the world, this would be a much peaceful place, and things would get done, and we would stop with all this fucking greed and everything. Well, hey, man, let's try it. I'm game. I'm game. Let's give them a chance. Ron Phillips, welcome to Driver. Thank you. Yippee, Ron Phillips. Thank you so much for getting that membership, becoming a driver. Ron says hi, TJ. Hi, Ron. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for doing that. Welcome to membership. Welcome to Driver. You are now a driver. Ron Phillips. Thank you so much. Michael McAndrews, what year is this? I know, right? This shouldn't even be a question. I mean, this is the year 2026, right? It's like, it shouldn't be a question of whether a woman could be elected or not. DPD says, I told my great nieces that Kamala Harris was going to be our next president. I cannot tell you how much I felt that I had failed those babies. And yet again, we threw it all away. I know. I mean, I thought for sure that Hillary Clinton was going to win. And that's the thing. Hopefully that's a lesson, that we don't take things for granted, or we don't assume things are going to happen a certain way, no matter what. No matter what the polling says, none of that. We can't trust any of that shit anymore. Because I remember when Hillary was going into the election, it was like a 99.9% sure thing she was going to win. And that Trump only had, or whatever, it was 99%. But, because Trump only had like a 2% chance of winning and all this bullshit. And now he still carries that, around. Like the other day, he was talking about how the New York Times, they're a failed newspaper because they got no credibility. Because they said I was going to lose and I won and all this bullshit. So yeah. Big Cook says, but Jeffries doesn't say anything bad about Israel, and Schumer gets a kickback of what is given to Israel. Yeah, I know. I wish our politicians would just say, hey, look, that they don't agree with Netanyahu. This is a Netanyahu thing, and his government, more than it is like the country of Israel or whatever. Like they're not. They should be able to express that they're not anti-Israel as a country, but they are anti-Netanyahu and the things that he's doing, the war crimes that he's doing. They should be able. These are fucking supposed to be like articulate people, right? They're supposed to be. I'm a little inarticulate, so inarticulate. Tickle. But these guys, this is what they get paid to do, is to talk and to speak, and they're supposed to have the silver tongue or whatever. I don't know. They should be able to express that there is a difference between supporting the country of Israel and it defending its right to exist, and disagreeing with the current government that's in charge of it. You know, uh, they should be able to do that. Big Hook. We need to abolish and dismantle ICE. Jolie says, "Trust me on that one, Trucker John." Yeah, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Mad Matt, we cannot allow billionaires to buy elections anymore. I know that's the whole thing that we there's so much we need to do as far as like combating, Citizens United, dark money, getting money out of politics. But there's so much that has to be done before we can even get there, as far as winning elections, winning majorities, and then having the people that we do elect have the political courage to go after these things. It's it's not just an easy fix. It's not. Well, theoretically, it shouldn't be that hard. But I mean, but realistically, it's not like you can just wave your hand and do it. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and we need to have um, people that have the courage to attack these issues of dark money, money in politics, all that stuff. And when you're going up against big money, it's a fight. It's a big fight. DPD says, "I know, right, Jolie? I wonder, will we ever have a woman president? When Hillary lost, I stayed in bed for an entire week, and when Kamala lost, I was devastated. I stayed in bed for 3 days. It was awful." And I, even me as an old white guy, when Hillary lost, I went into I really went into a deep depression. I think for like a couple months, and then slowly kind of worked my way out of it and tried to find hope, tried to grab onto whatever hope there was, and the realization sank in that Trump is going to be our president. That this is back in 2016, right? But it took a while, and it was like it was devastating, and I went into this depression, and really were almost like suicidal type thoughts and things. And I've never had an election of anything that ever made me feel that way, but that did 2016. And then when it happened again in 2020, it was a little different. It wasn't quite depression and suicide and all that shit, but it was like just kind of anger. It was more anger and like what the fuck, It was like bewilderment and anger, and like, how could you do this? How could you people do this to us? You know? Um, yeah, it's really disheartening. It can be really disheartening. So we try to grab hope wherever we can, I guess. You know? Big Hook says that reform is not the answer. These white supremacists are in ICE, and this is Trump's way of rewarding his supporters since Charlottesville and building a Gestapo to take out political opposition and jail. Yeah, it's probably gotten to that point. It's past the point of reform, I guess. Elon Musk, still not convinced that Elon didn't help Trump cheat and alter the election results. I'm not counting that out. I'm not, I'm just saying, let's get some proof. I don't know. Maybe it's just impossible to prove it. I don't know. But Elon Musk did seem concerned, like if they lost. He said they were going to go to jail, right? All right, guys, I can't believe that I've gone 2 hours and 45 minutes. I remember looking at the last time I looked at how long I'd been on here, it was like 1 minute and 40. And I thought, well, I've got about another 20 minutes. And here I went I went over an hour since then. I can't believe that. How time flies. Apparently I'm having fun because time flied. But I'm going to go ahead and end this show. I know Boston Brian is still on. Maybe we'll guys do a little raid over there in a little bit. Those of you that haven't already gone over there. DPD says, that's when I started therapy, right after the orange pedophile took office, and there is no shame in asking for help when it comes to our mental. Absolutely. That's absolutely correct. No shame in that. But I guess that's it for today, guys. I'm going to go ahead. I've got stuff I got to do today. I've got to get out and do some stuff. So, maybe I'll go to the doctor, DPD. No. But anyhow, I got stuff to do. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys again on Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time, thereabouts. With me, it's always kind of ishy. But yeah, we'll see you then. Yeah, just thanks everybody for being here. I don't have anything really to say. Trucker John has really depressed the fuck out of me today, and with all of this, the doom and gloom. So I got nothing. I can't add to that. I can't, I don't even feel like being mean anymore. Cause I just feel like, I don't know. I want to just curl up into a ball, a little cookie ball. Yeah. Thanks, Trucker John. Thanks. Appreciate it. See you guys on Thursday. All right, Tough Cookie. Oh, Tough Cookie. He's kind of emotional, actually, but and as we all should be concerned. We should all be concerned about what's going on. And notice I have the same hat as Trucker John. We have matching hats today, and we didn't even plan it. Just one of those things. But anyhow, but yeah, thanks guys for being here, and let's just try to hang together, or else we'll all hang separately. But no, that's not a time for a joke. Tough Cookie's glaring at me. He's giving me the death stare. This is not a time for humor. Maybe it is, but maybe it is. I don't know. Anyhow, hang in there, guys. Just hang in there, and hopefully we can make it, and we can get this motherfucker. Oops, rare time for me to really put down cuss words like that. But maybe that's what's called for. Let's just hang in there, and hey, I hope Sean Harris wins today. Fingers crossed on Sean Harris. We'll keep up on that, and I'll see you guys also on Thursday morning. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do appreciate you for coming in and hanging out. Did this? I was looking down. There we go. Thank you guys, and we got the thing over here. Thanks so much, and we'll see you again on Thursday. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. We are trying to get the 5K Hennessy Day, trying to get that going. So we got a ways to go. All right. See you guys Thursday. And until then, just take these words of wisdom. We're going to do today's words of wisdom. Take these with you. Write these down. They really are wise. The words of wisdom are wise. So take this down. Okay, you guys ready? Got your pen and pad ready to write this down? Okay, so for today's words of wisdom are as follows.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food, the movies and bugs. Shining a light on all the social issues. No shows, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. Whoa. to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over, I'm out of here, folks. Bye.